Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Come Out Things. Weird things come out, you know. Anyway, my last video was relative to landlords and tenants because I find that I'm getting a lot of calls from tenants in relation to landlords and people being dispossessed. And a lot of things are happening here in Barbados relevant to housing and land that is not fair, and people need to know their rights. Now, I'm going to speak of two scenarios that occurred, all right? And I want you all to give me your honest opinions, all right? And then I will give you all something where it will help you all to understand what should and should not be done in certain situations. Now, I have a person whom I'm assisting who was staying at a house with an elderly person they were taking care of. The elderly person and them became very, very close. They took care of them and everything, all their needs. And the elderly person made them the power of attorney. Anyway, the elderly person had made a promise to them that they would give them some place where they can stay. I don't know if it was the same place they were staying, because they were living in with the elderly person, or some other property which they had. But the elderly person passed away, leaving them there to take care of things in the interim. No, the elderly person before they passed said that they're not doing much for their family because their family have not even looked for them. They're not taking care of them. All they call, they don't mind them, anything like that. So they said, well, I have nothing for them. You understand? But watch how they're going to come, so be careful. They warned the caretaker, Anyway, it so happened that the elderly lady passed away. God rest her soul. And the caretaker was still there, paying the bills, taking care of stuff, and trying to find somewhere for herself. But up appears now a letter from a family member, one of the family members that this old lady wasn't seen at all, telling her she has to leave the place. Anyway, she said she wants to leave the place anyway. She wanted to leave the place. But what they did, they gave her a time frame. And you know how hard it is to find residents or lodgings in Barbados. So she wasn't able to make it in time. So the person turns up now with an attorney. The attorney turns up, shows her a document on his phone and says this is from the court. Comes with two police officers and says you have to leave now. Brings the truck and cuts off the lock on the outer door, saws it off. All this is on camera, Enters into the house and starts to take out the girl's things. The person, they come and observe these people taking out their stuff. Put the stuff by the side of the road. So now she has to go and find some place to look for. But she can't take stuff by somebody who she's begging for lodging. So she left the stuff there for a day or two. Only to find out afterwards now that the person they came back and take the stuff God knows where. So her stuff that she was paying courts for, her stuff she was paying for at other places, her fridge, stove, everything gone. Clothing, everything just gone, disappear. And nobody is giving her any kind of information as to where her stuff is. Anyway, they called me. So I said, well, let me see what it is the gentleman showed you. And she showed me this thing, and she took a photo of it and showed me this thing on the phone. When I look, it's a will. Now I know that will is not enough to move nobody from a house. It's a photo of a will. But the man is saying that he has a document from the court. We checked with the court. When we checked with the court is saying that they never issued any document asking for the girl to be evicted. Because I know there's a procedure. There's a procedure, a notice is given, then another notice is given, then you're taken to the court, and then they serve the eviction notice. But two officers came with him. So I'm wondering how these two officers got involved. You understand me? How did these two officers get involved in something that was not issued from the court? This has me baffled. You understand? So now we went to the court and we spoke to the magistrate last week. And the magistrate said, go to the police station and lodge a complaint. Tell them I sent you. You understand? This is what they tell the girl. I sent you. And ensure, because they never issued any eviction notice or no documents ever issued from this court. Ensure, because this is criminal, ensure that this person is charged. So we're waiting to see what transpires now when she goes to the police station, because she had been trying to go all the time and the police weren't taking her on. So I'm going to wait and see if the judge, the magistrate, has enough say to make them take her on now. Anyway, the next situation, a young guy taking care of his mother, living with his mother, somewhere up in Grisettes. His mother passes away. He's been working back and forth from overseas and coming back, but he lives there. What should happen to him now? He's at home, and his niece appears with two police officers. Tell him open the door. He opens the door. They come in and tell him he has 7 days to leave. Police officer, sir. Tell him he has 7 days to leave. One, he says, who held him by his throat. A sergeant held him by his throat. Tell him you got 7 days to leave in here. You got to leave. And my kid, because she has a will. Now, this is the second time I'm hearing a will is being used to get people to move from a place. And I know it's not done this way. You understand? When you have a will has to go through a process. It has to be probated. Probate means to search. You have to search to see if anybody has any interest in the property. Now, I know for a fact that a son has more authority than a niece. Unless that niece is given authority directly by the will. You understand? It isn't done that way. And not only that, a process has to go through. If it's a will, letters, testamentary have to be taken out, and she has to have a grant before she can ask anybody to leave their place. It is not done that way. So this is what transpired. I met this guy, and he told me check. When I checked, the will has not been even taken from the vault. It has not been probated. Nobody applied for no letters. So I want to know how the police could go up there and tell this guy you got 7 days to leave. And this is a message, right? I want you all to know this. Police can advise you. I would advise you to look for some place to leave. But police can't tell you to leave. The police is not a bailiff or a marshal. They're not given that jurisdiction by the court. The police deal with criminal matters. You see, when it comes to estate matters that are going before the court, the police do not have any authority to deal with those matters. And I want you all to realize this. I want you all to realize that as tenants, you have rights too. A landlord can't just show up by your place when they feel like. They have to call and ask. You're entitled to your privacy. A landlord also must take care of certain amenities within the house. You understand? You all must also receive something called a lease. If you have the lease, you're going to landlord. You understand? The lease is a contractual agreement. You understand? They must take care of certain things, and you will take care of certain things. Do not go taking care of things yourself. Or if you ask them and you take care of things yourself, make sure you keep the receipts, because they must be deducted from the rent, because especially when it falls under their responsibility. Do not allow these things to happen to you. Know your rights. There are a lot of things that people pay to get done when you can do them yourselves. Know your rights, okay? Anyway, that's what you have to say for the time being. All right? I want you people keep your spirits up, keep your tempers down. And remember, please, to do something good for somebody today, all right? This is my edition of Come Out Things. Have a good one.